I think people are going to be surprised at how much of a comedy it is. It's not just the slapstick fun of booting someone down a hill, but none of it matters if there's no good kick, right?
Hello and welcome to Rock, Paper, Shotgun and My Favourite Thing In. This is where I, Colin Mahern, chat to somebody at RPS about a spang new video game they've been playing and I get them to tell me about their favourite thing in it. Today I'm talking to list goblin Brendy Caldwell about Arkane's newest offering, Deathloop. He's been playing the time loop FPS for review and I really want to know what it's like. So I've asked him to chat to me about the game and specifically the one aspect of Deathloop that he enjoys more than anything else. So, Brendy, what is your favourite thing in Deathloop?
My favourite thing in Deathloop is the kick. The protagonist's mighty boot heel, which you can lay into people with absolutely reckless abandon. You can punt people off cliffs, off the top of buildings. You can just boot them into the middle of the street. It's very, very satisfying. And it's my absolute favourite part of the game.
Not the time loop or anything else. It is just purely kicking lads up the hole.
I mean, lots of people will talk about the time loop and how great it is. And it is admittedly a very, very excellent thing to watch the levels change as the days go on and different people do different things. Because you're out to assassinate these targets, they'll be in different places at different times. But if you can't run up and hoof them off a balcony, then what does the time loop matter? That's my argument.
Let's talk about this kick then. So what's so special about the kick? Are we talking a sort of an Assassin's Creed Spartan kick type thing?
It has, a bit of the Spartan oomph to it. What really makes it good is not maybe the kick so much itself. It's a good video game kick, but it's more that Arkane, the developers, they're very good at placing enemies in kickable positions. So there will very often be next to a cliff edge a guard or on a tower or near a fence, or they'll be posted at the top of hills because my word, they roll down hills so excellently. It's wonderful to watch an enemy just roll because they don't necessarily die when you kick them. They only die if they go into like a lethal pit or anything like that. If they don't die, they roll about and they kind of scream and they get annoyed and they have to kind of pick themselves up. And it gives you so much time to just get over to them and just lay the boot in again. And if you can do that all the way down a hill in some of the zones, it's just comedy gold. The designers really want you to kick people, and they should.
Does it really have that much of a comedic aspect to it? Because at least pre-release, Bethesda weren't selling this as a funny game.
I think people are going to be surprised at how much of a comedy it is. It's not just the slapstick fun of booting someone. The dialogue's really funny. Your character Colt, who's this buff, hench, looping kind of fool, like he's like kind of playing everything by ear because he doesn't remember too much, and he has this great dialogue with Juliana, who's your nemesis, and she is this antagonist who invades your game now and again, and they have this sort of not friendly banter exactly because they're threatening each other. And Juliana is often just tearing you asunder, like she's much better at insulting than you are as Colt. And that's very funny. It makes the lore of Dishonored look humorless. And I think the kick is kind of emblematic of what Deathloop is.
I mean, I know you said everyone else is going to talk about the time loop. I did want to ask you, even if it was briefly, about said time loop. It's not like some other games where you have a 22-minute time loop, a 12-minute time loop. You control the duration of each loop. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not like the Outer Wilds. It's not like that at all. You get set time periods, the morning, the noon, the afternoon, and the night. You can take as long as you like during each period. So you'll go to Carl's Bay, which is this small bay town that's been repurposed as a kind of art center on this terrible island by these terrible artists. You can go there in the morning and you can try to kill one of your targets, who's this preacher woman who's having a wellness seminar in an old abandoned hangar, and the wellness seminar involves gassing a man to death. So you can go there in the morning and deal with that, but you can spend as long there as you like. You could spend hours in Carl's Bay after you kill the woman, just poking your head around, looking in all the corners, trying to get an idea of what this place is about. And the game will never tick over. The time loop is infinite in that regard. As soon as you leave that level, you go into your tunnel, you say, okay, I'm done here, then time ticks over. You can even just go back there at noon to see what's changed immediately. You could spend the whole day in Carl's Bay. You could go there in the morning period, you could go there in the noon period, the afternoon and the evening, and just see what happens to Carl's Bay over the course of a day. And you'll see how it degenerates and how people get worse as the night goes on. Or you can hop around the rest of the town, and that is essentially what you'll do. You'll see how every area changes in minor and major ways between each day, but you'll have plenty of time to explore at your leisure.
Is it Hitman-esque in that you're trying to kill your 8 targets within one loop and trying to do that in the most efficient way possible? So you're trying to manipulate one character to get them to go to this area at this time of the day. Does it work like that?
Yes, in a certain way it does work a lot like Hitman. There are even particular levels at particular times of the day which feel like a small Hitman level has been placed in the game. There's a party at a big manor house late at night. Usually there's only one character there, but depending on what you do during the day, you could lure other characters there. So you could sabotage an experiment, and then another scientist who's annoyed that his experiment went wrong will want to blow off some steam, so he'll go to the party, and then you have 2 targets at the party. So you're figuring out what's the most efficient way to deal with all of these people in one day.
But all that obviously pales in comparison to the kick.
None of it matters if there's no good kick, right? I mean, the thing is that there are all these powers and different things. Like, people are going to love the powers where you can blink across the rooftops, kind of in the same way that the Dishonored power lets you blink across rooftops. It's called shift in this game, but it's the same thing. And there's powers to throw people around, but you know, without the kick, I mean, like, the kick is the best power, and you can use the powers to enhance the kick in different ways. Like, you can link people together with the Nexus power, which is, if you've played Dishonored, the domino power. It basically creates a mental link between enemies, so that if you shoot one enemy, a bunch of enemies will die. But you can link all the characters together with this Nexus power, run up and hoof one off a ledge, and they will all go flying in the direction that you've hoofed that person, no matter where they're standing. So it's just this hilarious image of like 5 people all being like shunted to the right at a moment's notice. And it's just very, very fun to do.
Thanks very much for chatting with me today, Brendy. And if you, dear viewer, would like to check out his full thoughts on Deathloop, then be sure to have a read of Brendy's written review of the game on the website. Thanks very much for watching, you absolute star. We hope to see you again soon as we learn more about people's favourite things in video games. But before you go, do remember, for all of your PC gaming needs, keep it on rockpapershotgun.com.